Welcome, everybody, to the NFL Presidential Address Week 14. If you guys have never seen this show, thank you so much for taking time to watch it. Basically, how this show works is we go down the entire NFL card, top to bottom. I'll give out sides, I'll give out totals, and, of course, a few passes along the way. Last week on this show, across the board, we gave out 8 picks. We went 5-3. Our overall record now is 105 wins and 87 losses. Our best bets, we gave out 3 last week like we do every week, 2-1. Our best bet record is 25 wins and 13 losses. And oh, how I wish that was my client record, but that's a different story. We won our teaser as well, 7-2 on the year in teaser bets. I will have 3 best bets for you at the end of the show, as well as a teaser bet. Andy Lang will be joining us towards the end of the show. He's got 3 prop bets for you all, so make sure to check that out. As for my client plays last week, I went 2-3, but I lost both my 5% plays, so just a terrible, terrible, terrible week for me. It is so cold in Toronto. My God, bring on the summer. Other than that, let's get to it. Well, Thursday night's game, Pittsburgh Mini. Last week we had the show up on Friday. I don't know when we're going to get the show up this week. I'm going to skip the Thursday night game. But I do have a client play for you guys on that game, and one that I love, so check that out. You can grab my play over at WagerTalk today. Let's get into the Sunday card. Las Vegas going into Kansas City. The opening line was -10. We have some money coming in on the Raiders. It's now -9.5. We have a total of 48. There are a few 47.5s on board. We have a lot of money coming in on the under right now. About 92% of the tickets being written on the under. Let's take this game apart. Interesting game, and one that really is crucial for both teams. The Chiefs still need to win the division, and the conference is not out of their reach, so they are definitely in must-win mode. And the Raiders, man, this team is fighting for a playoff spot. I was on the Raiders last week. They were one of my 5% plays. They played against Washington, and, well, I was wrong. But what did we find out about from that game? What we found out is the Raiders' D is much better than they were last year, and the Raiders' offense is much weaker after missing Ruggs and Waller. And I don't know where Waller's status is this week. That is obviously important. We also know that this Kansas City defense, and I've been telling you guys this all year, we saw it last year. We're seeing it again this year. They start out their first 10 games, 8-9 games. Their defense is a total disaster. And then they start riding the ship. Check out their last 5 games defensively. Kansas City has held teams to 9 points, 9 points, 14 points, 7 points, and 17 points. And one of those games was against Dallas, a high-scoring team. In their last 6 games, Kansas City has scored 22-19, 41-13, 20, and 3. Take that 41 out, and this might be one of the worst offenses in all of football. A pick on this game, guys, really struggling here. I cannot take the total, as both teams are clearly playing to the under, but they also have explosive offenses. My lean in this game is on the Raiders. I think the Raiders can keep this game close. I do like Kansas City to win the game, and I think they're a good first leg for a 3-team 10-point teaser. But if I had to bet this game on the lines that are currently out, I would take the Raiders plus the 9.5. Next up, we have New Orleans going into New York playing the Jets. Yesterday, the line was at 6. We've got a 5 on the board at some places. The total is 43.5. There's a lot of money coming in on the Jets, and I do understand that. The only bet I can find in this game, though, is the under. I understand that the Jets let a Gardner Minshew team put up 33 on them. I got to sneeze. Oh, my God. Oh, man. I hate winter. Anyway, I understand that the Jets let a Minshew-led Eagles team score 33 on them, and twice in the last 4 games, their opponent has covered that number of 43.5 themselves. But this New Orleans team is not built to score right now, and frankly would rather slow the entire game down. If New Orleans had their way, they would put up a whole lot of 10-minute drives with a bunch of them ending in field goals. I can't pick the side on this game, but my pick, under the total of 43.5. I think this is going to be one of the lower scoring games of the week. Next up, we have San Fran going into Cincinnati. Last week's Cincinnati game was a tale of 3 acts. First, they came out and put up 24. Then they let the Chargers put up 22. Then they put up 17 straight themselves. Which Cincinnati team is going to show up this Sunday? As for San Fran, what a horrible loss against Seattle. I gave out San Fran to my clients. They were one of my 3 losses. Literally a must-win game against Seattle. And they stunk. They stunk on D. Their offense was totally out of sync without Debo. And I don't expect Debo to play. I do expect Debo to play this Sunday. Last week was not a great spot for the Cincy team. They just came off a big division win against Pittsburgh. But it was a perfect spot for the San Fran team against Seattle. And they couldn't get it done. What did we learn? We learned that Cincy is good but not great, and San Fran is medium but not good. And neither of these teams have a killer instinct. Where am I going in this game? I'm going to take the Cincinnati Bengals and over the total of 48.5. I think we're going to see a high-scoring football game. Next up is Jacksonville. Man, when I wrote this, Jacksonville was plus 10. This was yesterday. Now we've got 8.5 on board. A lot of money coming in on the Jags. I don't get it. Total of 43.5. Money's coming in on the under as well. Around 97% of the tickets so far are written to that under. I don't know how you bet Jacksonville after they got destroyed 37-7. And I don't know how you can bet Tennessee minus 10, given that they're really struggling to score points without King Henry. This Tennessee team has only put up 13 points. 13 points in each of their last 2 games. Now they find themselves as minus 8.5 favorites. I don't like it. But I do have a pick for you guys. Under the total. Jacksonville is 10-2 to the under this year, and they simply cannot score. Their last 6 games offensively, 7, 14, 10, 17, 9, 7. Holy crap. Yes, and the key word there is crap. Those are terrible offensive numbers. Here is how this game will play out. Tennessee will hold the ball for 2/3 of the game and lay down some long, boring drives that will more often than not result in field goals. Jacksonville, on the other hand, will try very hard to establish the run and eat as much clock as they can. The bookmakers are thinking a blowout in this game with a minus 8.5 line. But even 30-13, which is a very reasonable score, even 30-13 Tennessee is under the total, and I honestly cannot see the Jags putting up more than 17 points. 24-17 is still under the total, and that's being generous, as the Jags have only gone over 17 points once in 6 games. Take under the total of 44, 43.5 in this Jacksonville-Tennessee game. Now we move to Baltimore and Cleveland. I've been telling you all year, this Ravens team is no good. They couldn't even beat the Steelers, and the Steelers just suck. Now they lost even more cornerbacks, really struggling. Their pass defense is just a mess, and it's only going to get worse. I ask myself, is Baltimore better than Cleveland? I don't think so, guys. Cleveland has better running backs, better wide receivers, better pass rushers, a better secondary. They're coming off of a bye. They're playing at home. I got to look at Cleveland in this game minus the 2. But if it remains 2 or less, take Cleveland on the money line. It's a better bet. That's my bet in this game. Atlanta going into Carolina. It was Carolina -3. It's now -2.5 everywhere. 79% of the money so far has been bet on Atlanta, and we've seen that as the line has moved off of 3, which is a crucial number. I'm going to make this real easy, guys. I'm passing. Atlanta is impossible to bet on or against, and I don't know what this Carolina team is going to look like. We're going to just move on to the Dallas-Washington game. Washington is now on a 4-game win streak and in firm position to make the playoffs. Good for them, as they have faced adversity all year and are finally coming together, especially defensively, even with Chase Young out. Dallas, this is the best team in the East by far, and in my opinion, a top 5 team in all of football. It's hard for me to back Washington here, as I just don't think they can keep pace with the Dallas offense. This Dallas offense is going to put up a minimum of 24 points. What will Washington try do to win this game? They're going to run. And that works perfectly for them because the Cowboys are 25th in the league in stopping the run. But here is the issue. Washington, for all their great D play of late, is the 3rd worst team against the pass in all of football. Dallas is the 4th best passing team in all of football. Washington sits outside the top 10 in stopping the run. Dallas is the 6th best run team in all of football. I see this game as a game that Dallas either wins and covers or shoots themselves in the foot. I'm going with the first scenario. I just can't see Washington keeping pace. Take Dallas minus the 4. Now we move on to Seattle versus Houston. This is a piece of shit game with a piece of crap teams. Which one is crappier? Well, without a doubt, Houston is crappier. But are they 7.5 points at home crappier? Who the hell knows? Tweet me if you got a thought on this game at Prez WagerTalk, because I can't come up with a goddamn thing. This game is a pass. Detroit playing Denver. This is a bad spot for Detroit, guys. That was an emotional victory last week. Last play of the game, they finally got off the snide and won a football game. I think this is a huge letdown spot for Detroit. This is a great spot for Denver, however. Just came off a loss against Kansas City. They need to right the ship. They're in the playoff hunt. They got to win this football game. Detroit averages 16 points a game. 16 points a game. I mean, that equates to basically 1 touchdown and a whole lot of field goals. Denver, on the other hand, 20 points a game. Detroit is 4-8 to the under. Denver 2-10 to the under. 10 out of 12 games under the total. The pick for me, this is an easy one. I'm just going to take the under 42 points and call it a day. Now we have the New York Giants going in to play the LA Chargers. And while the quotes coming out of the dressing room in LA is every game is crucial, they've already lost a few games to teams that didn't have their talent. They are not going to overlook this game, even with Kansas City on deck. And they get to play a New York Giants team with Fromm as their quarterback. Yep, this guy was signed last week to be the QB for the Giants against the Chargers. And this just does not look good for the Giants. I mean, we saw the Giants win a couple of games ago against Philly. Phony win. Philly shot themselves in the foot all game. This Chargers team just came off a signature win against the Bengals. But they are so damn inconsistent. One week they're world beaters. The next week they just can't score. With that said, I can't see the Giants doing a damn thing in this game. I see LA going up early by 2 scores and then the Giants being forced to throw. From's going to get eaten alive. I cannot see the Giants putting up more than 16 points, and I do believe the Chargers are going to get to 28 minimum. My pick in this game, take the LA Chargers at -10. And take them ASAP, guys. This line is only going to move. Now we talk Buffalo versus Tampa Bay. Man, this Buffalo team, they were my 5% on Monday night. And to be honest with you, they were probably the largest bet I made all year personally, and I took them on the money line. So it cost me a bundle. This team just really let me down. But just imagine how upset Buffalo fans must be feeling right now. This New England team dominated the division for 20 years. Finally, Brady leaves. Then they go on to win the division last year, and now the Pats are back. And Buffalo is going to be very hard-pressed to win this division. They do have one more game left against New England, but they're going to need New England to lose a few along the way. Man, I'll tell you, this game really pissed me off, this New England game. I mean, everything that could go wrong for Buffalo did. Drop pass by Diggs, missed field goals, just a breakaway touchdown by Lewis at the beginning of the game, by Harris at the beginning of the game, and then they just couldn't get out of their own way. Long story short, I'm taking the over in this game. Tampa Bay, here we have a game with the top two. Let me start that again. Here we have a game with 2 of the top 10 offenses. No snow, no rain, no wind, will be in the sun. There's going to be a lot of scoring. Tampa Bay is averaging 31 points a game. Buffalo is averaging 28 points a game. That's an average of 59 points combined. That's 6 more than the total of 53. They are also both in the top 10 in passing. And the one thing we know, guys, nobody can run against Tampa Bay. So I expect Buffalo to do a lot of throwing. I can't bet the side in this game. It's a really good spot for the Bills, but I don't trust them right now. My pick, over the total, and I think this game gets into the 60s. Chicago going into Green Bay. -12.5 for Green Bay. Total of 43.5. And guys, the Bears put up over 200 yards of passing last week. They actually scored points 3 out of 4 quarters. As far as I'm concerned, they should just quit and call it a season. Green Bay is coming off of a bye, and the only real question in this game is how many points is Green Bay going to beat the Bears by? Chicago's lost 6 of their last 7. Nagy's about to lose his job, and the Bears will lose on Sunday. Okay, look, they've improved. I get it. They are showing signs of good things to come. Like golf scores, maybe under 80. They're going to have a long golf season, but in all seriousness, the Bears are moving the ball. This is game 2 against each other. The first game, 24-14, but Green Bay. But man, it was 17-14 late. Chicago was right in this game. The line in that game was Green Bay -4.5. Now it's -12.5. That's a big difference and suggests a lot of value on the Bears. With that said, I can't play the Bears in this game. I can't take Green Bay in this game. For all of that long-winded nonsense, I'm going to pass. Now we got the Rams versus Arizona. -1, and it was -3 yesterday. There's -2.5s and -1.5s out there. The total has also been bet down from 52 to 51. I'm going to make this easy. I like over the total in this game. I know it's a high-scoring game, a big number, but I think it's going to be a very high-scoring game, especially in prime time. Take over the total. That's it for top to bottom. Andy Lang joining us in 1 second. We're going to have our best bets after and our teasers. Andy, my brother, I hand the mic to you.
All right, let's do it. We got 3 props in under 3 minutes. We are on a nice 5-1 run here on the Presidential Address. Based on recent reports, it sounds like we're doing a lot more running than Zion Williamson is. So let's get into our first 3 props. I'm going to start with Travis Kelce over 76.5 yards receiving. This number is going to come in mid to high 70s, I'm guessing. So last week, we played Kelce under his receiving and easy cash, 3 catches for 27 yards. And we played that because Denver has been great against tight ends this season, and Denver is 6th in time of possession, so they were able to keep Kansas City's offense off the field. This week, we're going to come right back and play Kelce on the over because they're playing Las Vegas, who is 25th in time of possession, and the Raiders have given up the 3rd most receiving yards to tight ends. Their first matchup was a few weeks ago. Kelce went off, 8 catches, 119 yards. That was his best game of the year. So we get a beautiful situation where we have Kelce coming in way under his total, and we come back the very next week based on the matchup, and we take him over. So anything below 80 yards, I'm going to take Travis Kelce over his receiving total. Next play, Adrian Peterson will score a TD. It's 2021. I can't believe I'm playing Adrian Peterson. But listen, they're playing the Texans. They've given up 20 rushing touchdowns this season, and they're getting worse. They've given up 5 the last 2 weeks, 3 to the Colts and 2 to the Jets. And last week when the Seahawks got to the goal line, there's Adrian Peterson. He got work, and he ran in a touchdown. And let's face it, the Seahawks, they are definitely going to be getting work at the Texans goal line. Peterson got 11 carries last week. That was the most on the Seahawks. It's probably going to be a nice plus money, and I expect to cash a plus money cash on Adrian Peterson to score a touchdown. And final play, Cooper Kupp under 94.5 receiving yards. I don't have confirmation on the exact number, but it's got to be in the 90s. And he's playing Arizona, and Arizona has been insane against opposing teams' number 1 wide receivers. So last week, Darnell Mooney is coming off of 2 games with 120 yards receiving. He had 27 against Arizona. They held DK Metcalf to 31 yards. Before that, DJ Moore to 24 yards. And earlier this year, Arizona held Cooper Kupp to a season low in receiving with 64 yards. How good was that? Well, his second lowest receiving total of the year is 92. So Arizona held him to 28 less yards than his second worst total of the year. It's really, really hard to play an under on Cooper Kupp, but Kupp's coming off a really good game. This number is going to be overinflated based on the defense that Arizona's playing. Sets up a beautiful under. So Cooper Kupp under 94.5 receiving yards. Quick recap, Kelce over his receiving total, Adrian Peterson to score a touchdown, Kupp to come under his receiving yards. Those are your 3 props in less than 3 minutes. Good luck, everyone. Back to you, Prez.
Andy Lang. Awesome stuff, man. I love having him on. He's so good. Check him out every Friday on WagerTalk today. Just a quick reminder, everybody. Best bet record has been unbelievable all year, 25-13. That's 66%, and we are in week 14 already. Teaser record 7-2 all year. Here are my 3 best bets for week 14. Cincinnati -1, Dallas -4, and the Chargers -10. Now, if that is not square enough for you, how about my teaser? 2-team 6-point teaser. Take Tennessee down to 2.5 and Denver down to 1.5. That's Tennessee and Denver as a 2-team 6-point teaser. Guys, it's been a pleasure. I can't thank you enough for logging on and making this the second most watched show behind Bet On It on the WagerTalk network. I read all the comments. I respond to a lot. It's greatly appreciated. Please continue to do so. And we will see you all next week for more of the NFL Presidential Address. Thanks, guys. Let's kill it this week.